All right, so if you're a seven-figure founder or CEO and you're still closing all your own deals, let me give you the ugly truth. 87% of first sales hires will ultimately fail. And when they fail, they don't just cost you money, they stall your growth for months. So today, I'm going to show you the exact scorecard that we use to know the perfect moment to pull the trigger on your first sales hire and why hiring too early will burn at least $150,000 before you even realize what happened. So look, I just worked with a digital agency founder. Let's call her Cara. She was doing about $2.2 million annually and personally closing about 80% of new business. That's a classic founder bottleneck. She hired her first salesperson when she had $150,000 in monthly revenue. Now that seems logical, right? But it's wrong. See, here's what happened. Her new hire closed 4 deals in 6 months, while Cara continued carrying the load. That hire, though, actually cost her $135,000 when you consider total compensation plus all the opportunity cost of deals that died in the pipeline. So why this happened? Because Cara violated what we call the sales readiness trinity and nearly killed her growth trajectory. So here's what determines the perfect hiring. Again, it's called the sales readiness trinity. So here's pillar number one. Pillar number one is called revenue consistency. You see, you need 6 months of consecutive $100,000 plus revenue with at least 40+% close rates and qualified leads. Now, we're not talking $100,000 one month or $40,000 the next month. You need consistent, predictable performance that proves that your process works. So then let's go over to pillar number 2. Number 2 is called process documentation. You must have a documented step-by-step sales system that somebody else can follow. This actually includes your exact lead qualification criteria, a discovery question framework, a sales script, objection handling scripts for your top 10 objections, as well as follow-up sequences with specific timing, and so forth. You see, if you can't hand somebody a playbook and expect that they achieve at least 70% of what you've been doing, then you're not ready. So then let's go over to pillar number 3. Pillar number 3 is your lead generation engine. You need systematic lead generation that produces at least 50 qualified opportunities every month. And that breaks down to about 12 opportunities a week, not generated from referrals or word of mouth, but a systematic, predictable lead flow that feeds your sales machine, whether it comes from outbound or inbound, paid marketing, or some combination of all of it. Look, all 3 pillars must be solid. If you miss one, then you're gambling with your company's future. So here's a quick diagnostic that you can do right now, and I call it the Sales Readiness Scorecard. So the first one is your revenue test. If you can show 6 months of at least $100,000 in revenue with a minimum of a 40% close rate, if you can say yes to that, then you can give yourself 1 point. Now, next is what we call your process test. Now, do you have documented scripts and processes that somebody else could follow? If your answer is yes to that one, then you can go ahead and give yourself another test. Then the third part of that is your pipeline test. And so are you generating at least 50 qualified leads every single month without word of mouth and referrals? If the answer is yes to that one, then you can give yourself another point. So here's how this scoring ultimately ends up working. If you are fortunate enough to get 3 points, then awesome. At this point, you are ready to hire immediately. But on the other hand, if you get 2 points, then you're going to want to fix those missing pieces first and then hire about 90 days is roughly what we see how long it takes. Or if you're only at 1 point, well, then you still need to add at least 3 to 6 months of systems building. So that might take you just a little bit longer. If, on the other hand, maybe you've got 0 points, well, if you have 0 points, then don't even think about hiring yet. You see, most founders, they probably score somewhere around a 1 or maybe a 2. They have some revenue, but they just don't have systems or consistent lead flow. So here's the thing that will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars and months of frustration. Your sales hiring timing actually has nothing to do with how busy you are or how much money you're actually making. It has everything to do with whether you've built a sales machine that can operate without your personality, your relationships, or your constant intervention. See, the goal isn't actually to hire somebody to do the sales for you. It's to hire somebody to execute the sales system that you have already perfected. So look, if you're ready to stop being the bottleneck in your own sales process, join our exclusive Predictable Profits community at start.predictableprofits.com/community. Now inside, you're going to get the exact playbooks for transitioning from founder-led sales to systematic sales teams, plus direct access to other 7- and 8-figure founders who have already made this transition successfully. Because look, the difference between founders who scale and founders who stay stuck, it isn't talent. It's having the right systems and being around people who have already figured it out. So I hope this helps. My name is Charles Gaudette, and I will see you in another video.